Mayor Durkan, we thank you for joining us here at King 5, coming off the State of the City, your third. What would you say you're most proud of about what you've seen in Seattle since your last state?
I think the thing I'm most proud of really is the resilience of the city. We have changed so quickly and faced some really big challenges, but through it all, Seattle just keeps getting better. And it doesn't mean we don't have challenges, we do. But if you look at the things we've been able to do over the last 2 years to continue to make our city, which I think is the best city in America, it's been great.
What would you say is the biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge right now is we grew so fast, it impacted this city. So Seattle's not affordable for most people anymore. We obviously have a problem with homelessness, and we also, downtown core, we have an issue with public safety.
Yeah.
And so we've got to address all of those challenges. At the same time, we're thinking about transportation because getting in and around the city is harder. We have 140,000 more people. Mm-hmm. So as we grew just so quickly and we weren't ready.
You said you talk about public safety, and that certainly I feel like is top of mind for a lot of us who live or work in Seattle. People have to come there, and you talk about enacting tougher gun laws, having more cops on the street. How do you pay for things like more police officers when people are very hesitant to plow in more money?
We just have to prioritize it. And when I came in, we made sure that we prioritized and had a budget that would allow us to hire more. I couldn't be more proud of Chief Best. She is working really hard not to just hire more police officers, but make sure every police officer carries with them that duty of service. And our police are working really hard, and their job has changed so quickly. I mean, last year they responded to almost 17,000 crisis calls. The job of a police officer and a firefighter has changed in our big city, and they've responded. So I couldn't be more proud of how the police are doing their job, and I think holistically, if we find ways to deal with not just public safety issues, but making sure our city is safe for everybody, it will be better.
And there are some who say that police shouldn't be doing those jobs. Maybe social workers should be used more frequently with interactions with people who have to live on the streets. How would you manage that challenge?
See, that's a great point, because as we shift, we're shifting how we staff it too. Chief Best came to me and said she wanted to add some mental health professionals. So we added 4 to the Seattle Police Department so that we could have more people trained in that way to help respond. We also created Health One, which is a new downtown thing that's like Medic One, but they respond to those low acuity calls. And it's 2 firefighters and a social worker. So they're able to take the time, figure out what services does that person need, because they may not need to go to the hospital. And so we're going to be able to roll out another one of those, and we've seen great success from that program. So we have to give support to our first responders and be thinking about, as a city, as we grow, what do we need next?
You mentioned in the state about, I believe it's $1.5 billion has been spent over the last few years on homelessness, affordable housing, and that the city, I believe, has put in $250 million of that. And there are a lot of people in Seattle who say, great, but where's the money going? I don't see the difference. I feel like I see more people on the street. How do you respond?
So first, the housing money is separate from what we're doing on the emergency response for homelessness. The voters of Seattle decided that they would have a housing levy. So we take that money and we're able to leverage it with private partners. I've been able to announce over $1.5 billion in just dedicated to low-income housing. It takes about 2 years to build it, so we're in the process right now, but we've brought online and we'll bring online thousands of new units in Seattle because we know people can't afford to live here. On our homeless response, our emergency response, we deal with that separately, and we've now been able to switch our shelters over to be more 24/7 support services. And we call those enhanced shelters, and we've seen they're 5 times more successful getting people off the streets and into housing. The problem is we're having more people fall into homelessness. So we're now trying to go upstream to stop that flow. And I think we can make some real progress.
To that end, the City Council voted yesterday to create up to 40 tent cities, tiny house villages, or parking lots where people who are living in their cars can camp out. There are only 8, I believe, of those now. How do you feel about that?
So first, all they did was lift the limit. It does not create any new encampments, and I think that's really important for people to know. I want to be really focused on, are we actually doing more for the people on the streets? And we see a huge need we have is in behavioral health. And I think everybody sees it downtown. There's an uptick in people who have significant challenges either in mental health or addiction. And I really want to focus some of our efforts there on getting those people the services they need so that they're better and they're not having impacts on the community.
We asked for questions from our viewers, and Sharon asked that we ask you. I was told at a recent event Seattle has about 1,200 police officers, and Boston, by comparison, has 2,400. Why? So is that about accurate, and why is that the
It's
case?
a little light, but it's about right. We want more. We're hiring right now. So if you know somebody who wants to be a police officer, come to Seattle Police Department. If you're a good police officer in another district, we're giving a signing bonus. We need more police officers. You know, it's the same thing. We grew fast as a city. Our transportation system wasn't ready. We didn't have enough police officers. We didn't have social services and not enough housing. We're catching up. And so I think our cops are doing a great job with the number we have, but we do want more, and we want them in every part of our city.
I want to ask you about the national political scene. Bernie Sanders polls best among the Democrats here, but has talked about making big businesses pay, so to speak, for more of their share. That didn't go over so well here in Seattle with the head tax that we all, and you especially, went through. So what would you advise him politically about that battle?
So I have to be careful because I can't weigh into the politics when I'm sitting as mayor, but I'll say this is, I'm very heartened about an effort in Olympia right now. Some legislators have a bill that would have a progressive tax against businesses to fund housing and homelessness. Business has come to the table and said, we think this is a problem, tax us. And so we've got a broad coalition of business, labor, housing activists, stakeholders. I proudly stand with them to say, I think this could be what could help us all and move forward, because I really believe the number one thing we want is progress. I think people are weary of just fights. I think people want to see actual changes that help people.
To that end, I'll leave you with this. When we invite you back next year after the next state of the city, what would you like to see definitive progress made as mayor?
I think two things. One, we're going to be starting our homeless regional system, that's up and running, and we now have the framework to make a difference in the region. We were just too siloed to make a real difference. Second, I want the city to be more affordable for more people, so that people who work in Seattle can live in Seattle.
And you forgot the Storm Championship. We want to see that again.
The Storm isn't it great? We will be champions. I got a really good feeling about the Storm this year.
I hope so. All right, Mayor Durkan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Back here at
Appreciate it.
King 5.